Hello again. In the last video on the Folio Society edition of The Lord of the Rings, I mentioned the original drawings made by the former Danish queen Margrethe II under the pseudonym Inga Hild Grathmer that were used as a basis for Eric Fraser's final chapter illustrations. Now, whether it's the Folio Society editions or certain Danish editions, they all use the Eric Fraser artwork, and the Queen's originals are nowhere to be seen. That is, until they appeared in this box set of all things, a CD collection of the Danish music group called the Tolkien Ensemble. The music, which also includes readings by Christopher Lee, isn't really what I'm interested in here. You can find it online and judge for yourselves, but the real value for me is within this amazing accompanying booklet, containing, among other things, a set of illustrations done by the young princess. Just to recap, if you haven't seen my previous video, in the early 1970s, near the end of his life, Tolkien and the talented heir to the Danish throne exchanged letters in which she included some of these illustrations. His taste being peculiar and specific, he would usually find something wrong with the many interpretations of his work, but these, which in many ways matched his own artistic sensibilities, he seemed to love. So much so that upon his death in 1973, 2 of these sketches were allegedly found in his coat pocket, while the rest turned up during a review of the estate, and several years later they were allowed to be used in the 1977 Danish edition of The Lord of the Rings, as well as the Folio Society edition from the same year. They had to be finalized though, so the professional illustrator Eric Fraser was hired, resulting in one of the more beautiful sets of Tolkien-related artwork. This booklet includes, if not all, I think it's safe to say most, of the sketches Queen Margrethe created for The Lord of the Rings. Aside from the illustrations, the booklet contains some information on the Tolkien Ensemble and this particular release in both English and German, as well as the lyrics to the songs taken straight from the books, accompanied by the relevant paragraphs. Which means this booklet could be read as a small collection of Lord of the Rings poetry as well. All of the songs are paired up with the relevant chapter illustrations, though not all the pictures were used like this, and the rest of them were thankfully still printed on the last couple of pages. Now, in my previous video I said that the frontispiece illustrations in the Folio Society edition were Eric Fraser originals, and they did not use the Queen's suggestions. However, some of these illustrations were included in this booklet, even though Queen Margrethe is credited as the only illustrator. These pictures were likely included simply because they are attractive, and this whole history of who did what is unusually difficult to figure out. I could not definitively say they were created without the Queen's input, but I have never seen any sketches that would suggest she was involved. Any frontispiece sketch drawn by Her Majesty that I know of uses a completely different design. The booklet uses a very glossy, durable paper, and there is some gold foil on the cover, as well as the slipcase. Unfortunately, they printed the cover artwork upside down, which can be forgiven, since it does look a bit abstract, but when you flip it, a more legible landscape of Mordor appears, with the flames around the eye going up instead of down. Well, that would be all for now. Thank you for being here until the end. I hope at least one viewer was as excited to see this as I was. I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.